helping hand, a helping hand. Do you need a helping hand? If the job's too big, if you're in a jam, you'll need a helping hand.
2-minute theme song proves there is such a thing as too much sharing. Fun fact, Lyle was the first VeggieTales episode to be animated at film standard 24 frames per second instead of TV standard 30 frames per second. I'm certain this was a stylistic choice for a more cinematic experience and was in no way a cheap maneuver for the studio to save on render time.
When do I have to share? Why do I have to share? Whatever happened to Funny and Share?
We decided to tackle all your sharing questions in one show.
Except that last one, that would get us in more legal trouble.
You let Jimmy and Jerry put on a show. But it didn't work out very well. Understandably so, them being them and all.
Burn!
VeggieTales has been somewhat lacking in the taste and culture department.
What do you mean, lacking in taste and culture? Esther had plenty of that stuff and the parents hated it. Archibald, are you sure you know what the series needs? Archibald changes his costume in less than 1/24 of a second.
For our first story, we present Shakespeare's classic, Hamlet.
Archie thinks it'd be a great idea to tell a story about adultery and murder to small children, and it wouldn't even be the first time VeggieTales did that.
It's tradition. In Shakespeare's day, all the women's roles were played by men.
Mr. Lunt isn't getting cancelled on both sides of Twitter in this scene.
The people, my lord, they're starving. Meanwhile, you feast on eggs every day.
Look, I get what you're trying to do here, and in most other cases, one rich guy's resources could feed an entire country, but in Prince Omelette's defense, this is literally the last plate of eggs in the entire kingdom. Barring the slim chance of a loaves and fish miracle, we are long past the point where sharing could actually make a difference.
We thought those were ping pong balls.
Behold the aforementioned loaves and fish miracle.
And now it is time for classy songs with Larry.
It's not pizza time yet.
It has long been rumored that Gilbert and Sullivan...
And this is the part where most children lose focus because they have no idea who Gilbert and Sullivan are, nor why they should care about all this exposition. This musical pop-up book is a total sham. If Archibald's reading it right, the words are upside down in relation to the pictures. Where even are the words anyway? The Viking wives make for a decent opening number, but otherwise contribute nothing to the story. We get it, big idea, you're proud of your water technology, please do not flood the ship.
Who doesn't like a pile of loot? Some gold and jewels and a shiny suit.
And a giant screen TV to boot.
Archibald, given the context of a lost musical from the 1800s, does not immediately question the one line about giant screen TVs. Mabel and Penelope forgot to wear their costumes in this shot. The mouth animation gives up halfway through Archibald's narration.
No, there was one in particular.
If the ground is all the way below the screen, then where exactly are Jimmy and Jerry standing right now? This shot composition tricks you into thinking Otar's rowing on both sides, but that's clearly impossible, and this boat clearly should not be rowing straight. Can we really call it sharing if Lyle's just giving the monks back what's rightfully theirs? Yeah, one could probably argue that Lyle wasn't the one who stole the loot in the first place, that he's just sharing the wealth that life gave him, but that's just being pedantic. Even though it's vaguely implied, we never actually see the Vikings tether or untether their boats to these poles, and I'm sure the animators are forever grateful for that. 2 versions of this shot exist, and one of them hasn't been seen on official media for decades now. Wait a minute, Lyle, why did you show up at the monastery before the daily raid? I'd understand if you were, say, helping the monks stage a counterattack to stop future raids from happening, but no, he's just giving them more stuff like he always does. What's the point if it's just gonna get stolen in 5 minutes? Hey, you can't fool me with a quick animation gag, those binoculars are gone! Otar, have you been eating the floor again? In no other universe could these wooden oars sustain Sven's weight.
And the little bag of loot we gave him.
Wait, that's not the same bag of loot he got yesterday, right? Because he already gave that back to the monks. Why would the monks bring it home only to take it all the way back down to shore? It's clearly meant to be a second bag, so where did Lyle get the second bag?
That little Viking is in big trouble.
Dramatic and inconvenient thunderstorm is dramatic and inconvenient.
I need to make an example out of this ex-Viking.
Olaf shreds Lyle's sail, throws out his oars, leaves him stranded in the middle of the ocean during a violent storm. What did he think was gonna happen? This is clearly a murder plot, and no matter how many guilty looks the other Vikings may have, they are all complicit in Olaf's evil scheme. 5 sins for the assailant, and 1 more per accomplice.
Where's the life ring?
Right here.
Huh? What'd I throw?
I'm pretty sure God wants us to help everyone, not just the people who are nice to us.
God wants us to love everybody, not just the people that are like us.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
Invisible hands aside, there is no way you kids are pulling your own weight while dangling in midair. Remember that you are plot convenience, and to plot convenience you shall return.
Wherever we go, sharing happily.
Jerry, are you okay? You sound like you have a cold.
That's what I get for working with peas!
That's racist. The way Archibald and the Peas awkwardly slide into frame before their animation starts is enough evidence to tell me there's no 16:9 version of this film. Hey, I'm halfway there.
But what about Larry's high school?
I said it's not pizza time yet. This episode and King George teach literally the same sharing lessons to the point where certain countries have an official video called Englishman with an Omelette that combines the B stories from each episode together. A little too soon to start recycling morals, aren't we?